standing in the wake of this train wreck. My heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic.
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Bit me with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the panty? What's up, Butters? Butters. Butters.
No,
Butters.
oh, I went too hard.
You went too hard. You're nobody started the chant with me.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but there's like a little delay, so
Oh,
not as effective.
we should have thought through that one.
Yeah, that's all right. Next time. Well, hello and welcome to 52/1993, the live movie conversation podcast where we discuss movies from the year 1993. I am your host, Cody.
Cody.
And I'm joined by my co-host this week, Spencer.
Spencer. The delay kills all the vibe.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome in. We're so happy for you to join us today. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up about what we're doing here. Basically, we're watching movies from the year 1993, 52 of them, in fact. Important movies released this year, bi-weekend releases. We chose this because it's the 30th anniversary of a lot of these movies. It doesn't matter if they're good or they're bad. It just matters that we watch them and see which ones are good and which ones, we like. Maybe we missed out on some. I mean, I was, how old was I? 6 years old when these movies came out. You were
one.
So there might be some things that you missed, but there are definitely some good movies from this year that we really enjoy talking about. And it seems like I choose you as my sports guy.
Well, it is probably a good reason because I usually fall in love with these movies pretty easily.
Yeah. So, and if you haven't figured it out, we're talking about the movie Rudy this week. So I'll get into Rudy, but first, have you ever seen Rudy, Spencer?
Embarrassingly, no. This was my very first watch. I'd been kind of meaning to watch it just because people kind of reference it a bunch and call it. I mean, everybody's all about Rudy, and that's honestly, it kind of set the bar low for me going in because it seemed like because everybody talked about it and it seemed old and kind of cheesy, and I was like, it probably sucks. Like that's probably why I didn't watch it, but we'll see.
I don't know. When I saw this movie first, I mean, it was kind of a staple for us to watch, and when it would show up on, network TV or cable or anything, we always sat down and watched this movie. No connections to college football. My family, we didn't even grow up liking college football, even though I'm from, Ohio and Ohio.
Oh, wow. That actually shocks me.
Yeah, I really didn't get into college football until probably high school, maybe after, like really into it. So Rudy was just kind of, I'm surprised I didn't end up liking Notre Dame football because of this movie. So
I could see you being a Notre Dame fan.
oh my gosh, I'd be insufferable. I mean, I already hate Ohio State fans. I am an Ohio State fan. I hate Ohio State fans. They're the worst. I can't even imagine being a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, that would be next tier.
Yeah. So I'm kind of glad I didn't get that. But if you had to explain this movie, how would you explain it?
Underachieving. Let's see. Underachieving.
I'm not limiting you to words here. So
underachieving poor student stalks, lies, and and B&Es his way onto the Notre Dame football team.
I like it. That's pretty good. I like the B&E part. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But okay. So I've been wanting to do that for the last.
I like that question. That's good.
Yeah, it's a good question. We can thank Ryan for that. I asked him to
nice
some of this stuff, and I was like, he suggested that, so I've been pretty happy with it.
Then we can go on Wikipedia and replace these descriptions.
These terrible descriptions. Although I think this one's all right. We'll get to it.
Honestly, right. that's my. I was talking to my mom the other day, and that's one of my favorite games to play with you. Is when there's a movie that's like on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of the title. So I'll describe it as poorly as possible to you, and you always get it.
I love that game too. It is so difficult sometimes when people are like, it's this movie and
with that guy.
It's got a guy, he wears green in it, and I'm like, I have no idea what we're talking about. The Leprechaun?
But
You're like, that's it. Holy shit.
oh,
That's it.
speaking of which, they just put all the Leprechauns on Hulu, I believe.
Oh, it's going to be a great Halloween. We are in spooky season. So if you haven't caught up on your Leprechaun, check that one out. That's a good one. You can always watch that or listen to that. I've uploaded several of these now to Spotify. So we have Spotify podcasts out there, probably about 16 or 17 episodes worth. So go back, check out the back catalog if you haven't already
Do you
done
have Spooky behind you?
I don't have Spooky behind me. Little Giants is playing behind me.
I was gonna ask if you were gonna play that one. Yeah.
So I was gonna play Happy Gilmore, and then I was like, I've got a couple football movies, and I had Varsity Blues, but my Varsity Blues tape is crumpled up, I guess. Like my old VCR 8, it's like I don't know how to fix that VHS, and so I forgot I had Little Giants. I was like, well, this is a perfect movie.
Earlier, I was just thinking about Coach O'Shea flying through that window, tackling that dummy.
It's such a good scene. Wait, is that next year? I think Little Giants is 1994. So
Oh yes.
with the continuation of this and moving into a new year, maybe we'll talk about Coach O'Shea.
Got to.
All right, let me go ahead and introduce this movie for the week. It is called Rudy, as we've already mentioned. It came out October 13th, 1993, directed by David Anspaugh and written by Angelo Pizzo, or Pizzo. I think it's Pizzo. Pizzo sounds terrible. I feel bad. To all our Italians out there, I'm so sorry.
That's just, it's just Lizzo with a drinking problem.
Give him a hand, folks. All right, this cast includes Sean Astin as Daniel Rudiger, John Favreau as D-Bob, Ned Beatty as Rudy's father, Daniel Rudiger Sr., Charles Dutton as Fortune, Robert Prosky as Father John Kavanaugh, Lily Taylor as Sherry. Vince Vaughn is in here as it's his very first role. Jamie O'Hara, he's got some very cute curls in this movie, I think. His hair is kind of outstanding. I didn't really go.
He looked crazy young. I was honestly, and I do this with movies. I like going into all movies blind as I can. And so I was surprised. First of all, I was super surprised to see him, and then to read that it was his debut was really cool. Yeah. And then I was also even surprised to see Favreau, because I did not realize he was in this.
Yes, John Favreau. And he's a little fatter in this one. He loses weight for the next movie, which he does with Vince Vaughn. They go on to do Swingers after this. So they become friends after this movie, I believe, and make that movie together, which is a great movie. If you should check it out. Anyway, the synopsis, we've already heard from Spencer, his synopsis. Now this is Google's synopsis. Rudy Rudiger wants to play football at the University of Notre Dame, but it has neither the money for tuition nor the grades to qualify for a scholarship. Rudy redoubles his efforts to get. I don't like that already. Rudy redoubles his efforts.
How can you redouble? Wouldn't that just be quadruple?
Google sucks. Rudy redoubles his efforts to get out of the steel mill where his father works when his best friend dies in an accident there. Overcoming his dyslexia thanks to his friend and tutor, D-Bob, Rudy gains admission to Notre Dame and begins to fight his way onto the school's fabled football team. We go from death to dyslexia, the two Ds.
Let me just say, rest in Pete.
Rest in Pete. You're very funny today. I love it.
Thank you.
This movie had a box office, a budget of $12 million and a really small box office return of $22.8 million. I tried to find some more info on its release, because I feel like this was a huge VHS. Like, people rented this movie a lot and people saw this after the fact. So I'd be curious to see how they did after. I
wonder if the small box office had anything to do with football being basically an American sport only.
Yeah, that's true. This would only be interesting to Americans. That's a good point. So look at you.
Yeah, I'm just using my thinker here.
You're on top of it today. Maybe I should do every one with you on a Monday after work. So, Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb scores. Rotten Tomatoes gave this 78%. Pretty good, pretty good. IMDb right behind with a 7.5 out of 10. A couple reviews for you. Roger Ebert loved this movie, gave it 3.5 stars out of 4. He said, and although his story reads an outline like an anthology of cliches from countless old rags to riches sports movies, Rudy persists too. It has a freshness and an earnestness that gets us involved. And by the end of the film, we accept Rudy's dream as more than simply sports sentiment. It's a small but powerful illustration of the human spirit. So Roger really dug this. And I've got a negative review here from Desmond Ryan of the Philadelphia Inquirer. He gave it 2 out of 4 stars. He says this is a tedious and simplistic celebration of the virtues of determination. Rudy is a film that prostrates itself before the carefully cultivated and shrewdly marketed myths surrounding Notre Dame football. So give it a little bit of there. Not really much legacy to talk of. I'm a little surprised. I will go on to this when we're talking about the music part of it, but a couple of the songs from these scores might seem very familiar to you. It's often these songs are used in a lot of trailers. A couple in particular, and I'll talk about both of those. But this score wasn't even nominated for an Academy Award, which I was a little sad about because I think the score is pretty great to me.
So is it like royalty free? Is that why everybody uses it?
I don't know. No, I just think that they were like, well, this is really inspiring music, and I'm going to put it behind these horses running or whatever it is. So I don't know. I really like the score. That's one of the high points of this movie for me.
Yeah, we may have some different opinions on that.
And I'll hum some tunes while we do it. So
please do.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to and break this movie down a little bit. Let's start with the best scenes in this movie. 4 to 5 scenes.
Can I stop you real quick?
You can do whatever you want. It's your show.
Well, and this is just what I like to do when I'm watching. I like to kind of jot down some notes on what I'm thinking as I'm watching. Mm-hmm. And one of the things was I was really surprised that this was a PG film with the amount of cursing that it had in it. And I know that it's probably just like a times thing, but and I know the MPAA is kind of garbage anyway, but yeah. I was just really shocked. I was like, dang, it's PG, like they're saying all kinds of stuff. But
so many goddams in this movie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that
especially for a movie about a Catholic university like Notre Dame.
Right. But the movie opened and got a laugh out of me because Rudy had to play all-time center and he looked ridiculous as the only kid out there wearing a helmet. So that made me laugh really hard. And then I will get back to some of this other stuff. I do have a question on one of the plot points for you. And I think, yeah, that'll be it. I don't have to talk too much on that. So best scenes. So I thought probably my number one is the scene. I say number one. One of the best scenes is the scene that he got accepted into Notre Dame finally. And I really like that one because it took him so long. It felt like one movie and then the other, like before Notre Dame, after Notre Dame to me.
Yeah.
But I really liked that scene because of how long it took him to get accepted. And the music on some of the parts, and I guess I am agreeing with you, the music was good. The music on some of the parts where he was opening the letter made it seem like he was gonna get in, like it was uplifting and hopeful. And I was like, ah, shit, this is the scene where he gets accepted, and he didn't. And I was like, oh shit, like they really made me feel like he was getting in. So I think that built it up really nice for when he finally did, and I commend them. I commend them for that.
Yeah, I think I've seen this movie so many times before. I felt like they really stretched that out, and not in a bad way, because I think on the first, like, I think I remember him getting one letter and finding out that he didn't get in, and I was like, oh shoot. And then he gets the second letter, and I was like, all right, this one's the one.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't, and I was like, well, shit. When is this guy getting into Notre Dame? Is he getting in at all? And I didn't realize how long he was really at Holy Cross. That whole time. So yeah, it was really surprising to me. I actually didn't have when he got into Notre Dame as one of my
okay.
I guess I got everything in between, or like, well, I got the Rudy / D-Bob montage, which is like him studying and him going to work, and then him and D-Bob like trying to find D-Bob a girl and all that stuff, which I thought was very funny.
That one was a little weird to me because when he first met D-Bob and they kind of kicked off their friendship, I was like, this is like D-Bob's about to play him, because I felt like D-Bob was really just gonna screw him over. I don't know, the look in his eye, and then like D-Bob said something about finding him a girlfriend, and I think it's because Favreau doesn't strike me as the kind that would struggle to get women.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? Like, he's messing with him. Like, something's going to happen where he betrays him or something. But it didn't. It ended up being a super wholesome friendship.
Yeah. I really do. I think D-Bob is the kind of character that, and I can probably relate to this, that thinks he's suaver than he actually is. And is definitely a bigger nerd. And like, you can see it, especially when he gets with, what's her name? Like, he's a little embarrassed that that this is the girl that he's going to end up going to the dance with, and then by the end of the movie we see that that's his girl.
Yeah,
and
I did really like that he actually ended up with her, and it wasn't just like a punchline.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. I do feel like this movie was filled with montages.
It did have a lot. Yeah,
I think there's that montage of him studying. There's a lot of like going to church, prayer, like that montage.
Of course,
tryouts, all the football stuff. So a lot of montages, I feel like.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a good montage.
I am too. And that's where they put a lot of the good music, especially that tryout scene. Like, that's really great. And, they have their stop and starts where they throw in some lines and everything. But no, I really, really enjoy that tryout scene. What else you got? Give me another one.
I really liked the monologue that that Fortune had whenever Rudy, after he quit.
Oh, yes.
Thought that was a real good monologue. Like, it could have come off as so much more cheesy, but it didn't.
Do you have that one written down? We can go ahead and say that.
Have what? The quote?
Yeah, the quote.
I don't know. I don't think I wrote it down, actually. If you want to get into it.
That's one of mine that I wrote down, and Fortune says, "Oh, you are so full of crap. You're 5'0" nothing, 100 and nothing, and you have barely a speck of athletic ability. And you hung in there with the best college football players in the land for 2 years, and you're going to walk out of here with a degree from the University of Notre Dame. In this life, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody but yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you haven't done that by now, it ain't never going to happen. Now go on back." And just kind of like kicks him in the ass. It's really good. And we also learn, is that the same part when we learn that Fortune played? Used to play, but never started. Never started.
Yeah. He was always on the bench. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. So that's really good. I love that Fortune character.
I did too.
He kind of falls into that that Bagger Vance. What are they? I can't even remember what they call it. It's like the mystical black man that comes in and saves the white sports guy. He does kind of fall into that a little bit. But I don't think it's out of. I think what they said is this is a combination of like 3 different people.
Yeah, I did read that as well.
Yeah, so I'd be curious. I didn't read too much into what 3 people it was, but
well, that's not the only character that they combined people into either. They combined his brother. Was it his brother?
His brother. Yeah. And they add a brother too.
Everybody. Yeah, they did add a brother. And that's what I have another question about. But they said his brother was a combination of everybody that told him he couldn't do it, which I thought
Right.
is a really cool concept.
Yes, I liked that.
His
It's
brother sucked. Well, his whole family sucked, but dang.
yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I did not remember that sucking as much as it did, especially when he goes home for Christmas
Oh,
and
that pissed me
everybody
off.
just shits on him.
Okay, so now that we're at that scene, I can ask you: is that what it is? His? I don't know if I'm reading it wrong or if I'm reading it right. So his brother John, right? He's clearly got beef with him. Is that because he's dating Rudy's old girl? Is that
Um,
what happened? Or am I
yeah, I
crazy?
mean that is the
Is what happened?
is what happened for that
Okay,
one. Yeah.
okay. I was just making sure, like, because no offense to her, but she just looked kind of like I don't know. She looked pretty average. Like I can't see faces that well. I was like, eh.
That is one of the missteps I think in this movie is that that connection to Lily Taylor's character and setting that whole thing up to where, like, if we're gonna stretch the truth, which I know this movie does, like,
Yeah,
let's work through this with let's give a different narrative there to the girl that said she was his girlfriend when they were little kids, and like make that a little bit of a cuter story than what actually did happen. Or
yeah. That was I did think that was like not explored very well.
no, I thought that it was basically, you know, after he leaves for Notre Dame and Holy Cross, that was it. We'd never see
That,
her again.
yeah.
She was kind of accepting it, and then they throw in this wrench that he's with her brother John, his brother John, and
And it's just like a few frames, and then they never go back to it.
never talk
They
about it
never talk about it.
because Frank's the important brother.
Yeah,
He's the POS brother.
Frank's the Kendall Roy of the family.
He is, man. He is. Frank sucks, but his dad sucks too.
Oh, dude, his dad sucks hard. His
Like,
dad pisses me off, maybe more than Frank, because Frank may be an asshole, but like his dad could stand up and be like, "Hey, quit being an asshole," but he doesn't.
yeah, I like. I don't know if they're intending for the father figure to be more sympathetic, or what, because he doesn't ever. He doesn't believe in Rudy at all. He just wants him to work in the mill. He doesn't want him to go get an education. He doesn't. I mean, he just wants him to live
Yeah,
right there in
he
Joliet. Like,
he doesn't celebrate any of his successes, no matter how small. Like he just
yeah, Rudy's dyslexic, and he's coming home with A's and B's on his report card to get into a better school.
and
Like,
then he gets into Notre Dame, and he's like, "Oh, but you still shouldn't be thinking about football." Like, shut up, bro.
yeah. Although he did announce to the mill, he's like, my son got into Notre Dame.
He did do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the dad's the worst. And I think they could have calmed that down a little bit. I don't know. I like he could have been a little bit prouder of him and still waiting till the end of the movie.
Yeah, but maybe they intended it to be like that because we feel like Rudy does because we want that validation
It's
and that
true.
happiness from the father, and that must have been, Rudy must have felt that 10 times what we did.
It was effective. It really was. Like, I was pissed off at Christmas.
Yeah, I did
Not
not
even because of the girl thing. Like, I think Rudy was a little too upset about the girl thing. And honestly, I think he should have been way more upset about Frank and his dad just being dicks to him. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Also, whenever you said that his friend Pete died, I did not realize that Pete was just his friend. I thought he was his brother as well.
Pete's a guy. I think they talk about it in the food scene. Like, Pete, don't you have a family or something like that to go to?
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that was actually one of my scenes that I had written down, was kind of the opening kid scenes that we get. Rudy, one of my favorite scenes when I was growing up was Rudy doing the Newt Rockney speech.
We'll get on this.
We're gonna get him on the run, and we're gonna keep him on the run. We're gonna go. Yeah. I loved that scene. I thought it was really cute when I was a kid, and you see that Pete is believes in Rudy in that point, and like you see that again as they're older. You're the only one that ever believed in me, Pete, which breaks my heart because then we see Pete get freaking blown to bits.
I thought that there was going to be a moment or something that like Frank intentionally sabotaged some shit that got Pete
He was
killed, but it didn't. It didn't go that deep.
the story, I think, is actually much worse
Oh no!
than of his friend's death. So I forget, they didn't work at a steel mill. I think it was a different kind of plant or factory, but something did happen, and he got caught in the machine, and like it basically was
Crushed
like
him.
crushed him,
Oh
and Rudy gives his friend like mouth to mouth to try and like resuscitate him and everything, and he's just covered in blood, like his friend's blood, so it's much worse and much more like grisly than how he
mhm.
actually died.
I kind of get why you had to change that because that's damn, that's
Yeah.
rough.
And to try and save your best friend's life.
I always thought that might be like the worst way to go is like getting stuck in like a lathe.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I don't even remember what it was, but yeah, he got crushed. He went through the crusher like 4 or 5 times.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was reading the article, and it was talking about him, trying to do CPR and give him mouth to mouth while he's just covered in his friend's blood. And I was just like, that was a little vivid for me. That's a
Yeah.
little much. I
Speaking of crushed, this scene crushed, and it was the scene that the
Great
team
segue. You were
the
born to do
team
this.
the team scored for Rudy on the halfback pass. I really liked it. I know it was bending the truth a little bit, but I thought to see them all come together, especially Vince Vaughn when he was a dick to Rudy earlier, was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do this for Rudy," and then they scored for him. I like that scene.
Yeah. And I was like, as I was watching that final game, one, it's great that he was out on the field, that he made it. I thought it kind of sucked that he didn't get his name on the back of his jersey. That was kind of lame. But I think Rudy was fine just being out there,
Oh
just
yeah,
dressing. And it was really cool that they were like, "No, we're not going to take a knee. We're going to do this play." How'd they know it was going to work? They're just
well,
that great. They were like, "We're going to beat the shit out of Georgia Tech." So
well, I mean, they beat him pretty bad. The team must have been pretty ass. So,
yeah. Do you look like a dick though? Like
oh
just so you can get back on defense?
yeah, that's a true like, like you're so good you can try to make a wish kid out there, and it's no problem. You're still gonna win.
Yeah. No, the final game scene is great. You get the meme clap that you see as a GIF all the time from Fortune with the
Yes.
who doesn't know how to clap properly.
I saw that. I was like, oh shit, that's where that's from.
Yep, that's what it's from. His dad, like them in the crowd, everybody in the crowd to see Rudy's moment and everything, and like him getting carried off the field. It's a good
And
moment.
that's another of my favorite, and it's not even a scene. It's just the text on the at the end saying about no other Notre Dame players being carried off the field since 1975. So like, I'm a huge college football may be one of my top watches. Like it's every Saturday. Well, it's multiple days a week. And so like I'm always tuned in, and then to read that stat and then think about it, like, you know what? I mean, I guess it hadn't happened.
Yeah, nobody gets carried off really.
No, it's pretty wild.
People storm the field. That would probably be, I guess, probably the equivalent now is like people storming the field.
Yeah.
And doing that. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it. Sorry, I just hit myself in the face with my microphone. Maybe we'll talk about it. But like, did you read any about like Joe Montana's
Yes, yes,
take
I
on
did.
this? And I kind of hate Joe Montana.
Well, I already kind of did anyway, so.
Yeah, I it's the Skechers shape ups for me that really piss
Nah,
me
he
off
just
about
seems
Joe.
like an asshole, and I
He
always get him
does.
and Joe Namath confused, and they both suck, so it's like, eh.
I was just like, one, why are you trying to ruin this guy? Isn't like you're ruining a great moment, even if what you're saying is true. This
Yeah.
guy is not profiting as much as you are, Joe Montana. Like
Oh, yeah,
he's
you've had
punching
your
down.
moment.
Yeah, like it's just completely punching down. There's no need for it. He got to play one game. He got to be in one game. He got to do one play. It was actually 3 plays. And I
Well,
was
I
just
think
like,
I find out why he was kind of pissed, though, because he was the one that
he
Rudy
got
replaced.
scratched. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Good. Screw him.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
agree.
wasn't an important game. They had
No.
already won it. Like, it's so dumb. Joe
Come
Montana,
after us, Joe Montana.
suck an egg, man.
Suck an egg.
Suck an egg, dude. Let's see. The Jersey scene. If we're talking about the final game, I think the Jersey scene is. I think it's the best scene in the movie.
I think it ramps up the cheese factor a little bit, but I'll give it to you. It is good. It's powerful.
Yeah. I think that is I don't know, when people think about this movie, they either think of the Rudy chant at the end of the movie, or they think of Rudy can have my spot, coach.
Did the Foley artist go too hard on that scene, though?
Which one?
The Jersey scene?
Why?
Because what was the noise as they were putting down? Like, it wouldn't make that noise. It was driving me insane. It was like, I don't even know. It was like they were made out of plastic, or like you could hear. And I was like, it didn't sit well with me.
No, I don't. I did not notice the sound going hard in that scene at all. So
I could have been hallucinating because it has happened.
Did you watch it on a streaming service, or did you watch it?
Yeah. It wasn't just somebody in the theater.
Yeah, somebody with a camera in the background just clicking, just chewing gum.
And then they get up and go to the concession stand. I love that.
No, I think that's a powerful scene in the movie. And I think right before I love that last like 30 minutes. Like, that's where Rudy goes into his quitting mode. He talks to Fortune. He talks to the priest. They do that scene. Yeah, I might have been crying. That scene honestly got me, guys. Like, the Pete death got me. The Pete death got me real good. And then the Jersey scene, it really did get to me. And I think I've watched this too much as a child and never really thought about the Jersey scene. But I don't know, man. I'm just trying to be. This is such a dad movie, and I felt like I was in my dad feels.
I don't know. They just came in there. They're like, we're not playing unless Rudy plays. Like, bullshit. Like, yeah, you are.
They're making a statement, man. Rudy can have my spot, coach. Whatever's right. Get out of here. Do you have any other scenes that you really liked?
Nope.
That's it. The only other one I had was when he arrived at Notre Dame after, getting off the bus and everything and making his way out onto the field. And like,
was that the first time when he was way too early for the admissions office?
Yes.
I love way too hard.
I really like that whole scene and them being like, I'll send you to a priest, kid. And
yeah, I did not expect the guy that played Father What's-His-Puss to be who it was. I really liked his character and was really surprised that that's the direction it took, and I like that.
You might. So what do you recognize that guy from?
That's what I'm trying to think right now, and once you say it, I think I'm going to be really mad.
Well, I've got one that I was like, he plays a bad guy in a movie, and he's a pretty ruthless bad guy.
It is not a bad. What's his name?
Robert Prosky.
Is he not credited on IMDb?
He is. Prosky.
He's not listed as top cast.
He is in 3 1993 movies that we will talk about this year. He is a 1993 All-Star.
Hold on now. All right, give me, what was the villain in?
Okay, so it's a movie that I made you watch back in, from 1981, Thief.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's the bad guy. Like, he's the one that, like, gives him a baby and then says, I will take that baby away from you. Like,
that is pretty ruthless.
That guy is ruthless in that movie, and he ends up getting killed.
Dude, the synth was just so loud in that movie, though.
Oh, yeah. They need a remastered version of that. What we saw was not a good mastered version. Last Action Hero?
It's definitely not the movie I was considering.
So he is the guy that is works in the movie theater that the kids always go into.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
And Mrs. Doubtfire. You've seen Mrs. Doubtfire,
That's
right?
the one.
Yep.
That's the one. He's
He's the
yeah.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
What do we got going on?
My phone said it's getting warm.
Oh no, Joseph has that happen to him all the time. So cool it down. Put it in the refrigerator. It'll shut off on you if you don't watch
I
it.
do have this canned air. Just to get it down real quick.
Oh my gosh. This is
The heat that is this podcast.
so ridiculous.
Podcast is fire.
I apologize, everybody. We're having a little bit of technical
I
difficulties.
lost. Oh, okay. Summer phone.
Summer
But yes,
phone.
it was definitely Doubtfire.
Doubtfire, Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, that's the first thing I always think of with him in it. All right, who's your favorite character or the scene stealer?
I think on both accounts, I'd probably go D-Bob.
D-Bob?
And then I'll say also Fortune could be up there too, though.
Yeah, I had D-Bob as well. I guess I'm just drawn to more of the comedic roles, but I really like the priest too.
Yeah, so I not to jump the gun, but I have him. What do I have him? Yeah, I guess I will jump the gun. I have him as an honorable mention on best performance.
Yeah. No, I really like the priest. I think he is good. That guy, that character, or that actor is really good at delivering, I don't know, just like monologues of good lines and stuff. He's got like 3 of my favorite lines in this movie. So speaking of favorite lines in this movie, what are some of the quotes that really stick out to you?
I have 2. I just had 2. And one of them is from him because, like you said, he's just his delivery and his he's always been so good. But it's son, in 35 years of religious study, I've come up with only 2 hard, incontrovertible facts. There is a God, and I'm not him.
Love that line. I had that one as well.
I think that's my favorite. And then I know you're gonna have D-Bob's line in here. Go ahead.
Do I have D-Bob's line?
You don't?
No, is it the Remember Elsa one?
It's some. She's in it.
Yeah, I have that. Remember Elsa? She's my girl now. We're engaged. Ain't that goddamn something? And then she slaps him and says, Dennis. And he goes, oh yeah, I ain't allowed to say goddamn no more.
That one made me laugh really.
Ain't that goddamn something? I'm going to start saying goddamn in like the weirdest places.
Just insert it anywhere.
Just anywhere I want. My favorite Father Kavanaugh line comes when Rudy says, maybe I haven't prayed enough. And Father Kavanaugh says, I don't think that's the problem. Praying is something we do in our time. The answers come in God's time. That would be that if I were still a religious person, that would be a line that I would take with me.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good line. Like,
dude, he makes a really good priest.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I love this line too. You know what this comes from Pete. Well, you know what my dad always said, having dreams is what makes life tolerable.
Oh, I don't guess I caught that one because I would have definitely wrote that down. Wow.
Let's see here. I already did Fortune's line. Oh, this is this is a line from Frank that I wrote down. If you're a part of that team, then my opinion of Notre Dame football just hit the shits.
Oh, yeah.
Just hit the shits is a great line. So,
dude, so I used to work with a lady that never heard the term "shit the bed."
Really?
Yeah, I was really surprised. Sorry,
no, that's an interesting one. The only other line I have, of course, is just Rudy doing the Newt Rockney speech. We're gonna go inside, and we're gonna go outside, inside and outside. We're gonna get them on the run, boys. And once we get them on the run, we're gonna keep them on the run. Then we're gonna go, and we're not gonna stop till we get across that goal line. This is a team that say it is good. Well, I think we're better than them. They can't lick us. So what do you say, men?
Dude, that was one of my biggest laughs because that was just so stupid and cheesy. I hated it.
The only part I don't like about it is when he says, what do you say, man? And he goes, yeah. It's like slow-mo, and he goes, yeah. And then Pete looks like he wants to kiss him. He's like, oh my God.
Dude, no, his whole speech, like, I don't know, it just like as a grown ass man in the locker room, and you're up there by yourself with just Fortunate there going, we're gonna go in time, we're gonna like,
Oh no,
hell
that's
no, dude.
oh, I'm talking about kid version.
Oh no, no, yeah, okay, but I mean, he gotta cool it. He gotta cool it.
He does have to cool it. I agree with you. The fortune scene there, we're like, all right, we get it, kid. You like
Yeah,
Notre Dame, but no,
like,
when he's a kid, like the
okay,
justification is that just the justification is there. I mean, he's a kid. They're listening to a record. It's like his favorite thing in the entire world. Like,
he's a kid, that's fair, but as a grown
yes,
man,
I agree. I agree with you. So I understand more why you hate that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
So I had that one, of course, as a big laugh, just because I was mad about it. Um, all of mine are laughs.
Mine are
So
cries. So
oh, we have very different reactions to this film.
yeah.
Um, so the team chanting Rudy, led by that big dude, it just sounded really funny and cavemanish because you just hear
Yeah.
Rudy, Rudy, Rudy.
That guy's mouth, like that guy's face, that whole guy as a human being is funny to me.
Just the most Neanderthal sounding Rudy chant I could imagine.
He's
Because
also like 3 feet taller than Rudy too.
oh yeah, but I mean, like you always hear that about this movie, and so this is my first to actually hear it from the movie, and then that's what it sounds like. I'm like, get out of here. And then another one is almost that exact same scene because it's when Rudy finally does get on the field, and it's like a heartfelt scene, and then it cuts to D-Bob in the stands, and he says, "He's so little,"
He's so little. Yeah, I love that.
and I laughed really hard because it was like right in the middle of a heartfelt moment, and I just busted up laughing.
Oh man. No, of course I had Pete's death
Yeah,
and then the jersey scene. One thing that I really forgot to mention is I love the captain of the football team. I don't remember what his position was. I think he was on defense, but he's the one that says, "All right, lead us out there or take the lead or whatever." Letting Rudy run out of that tunnel. Oh my God, that was good to me. He's so little.
he's so little.
So yeah, those are my scenes for the biggest cry.
Yeah, that finishes mine out too.
All right, most what the fuck ridiculous moment.
Hands down, it's when Rudy walks back to practice after he quit, and the team just starts clapping like he's some kind of legend or god tier player. Like, get the fuck out of here! You're not that good. Nobody gives a shit if you're coming back to practice or not.
I was surprised at the reaction that they had. You know, I because he showed up late to practice.
Yeah,
You show up late. You can't just walk back in here.
yeah, that pissed me off because I was like, that is not the reaction that should have happened.
Mine was the touchdown before Rudy goes in. It was just such a perfectly drawn up play that they were like, "We're gonna score no matter what here." With 28
Well, they were
seconds
playing
left.
that shitty Georgia Tech team.
Yeah, but one play, it's not believable.
Well, they were on like the 10.
Were they?
I don't know. They were close. I think they were in the red zone.
Oh, whatever it was. I just didn't like that. I was like, one play, guys, to get this, and it just so happens to work. I've seen college football. It does not work like that.
Yeah.
I've watched Notre Dame play. It does not work like that.
Well, so I was thinking about that a little bit when it happened too, and I was wondering like if a more, again, it would be like it would still be a hell of a stretch, and it would be stretching the truth, which of course you got to do with the movie in Hollywood. But my thought was that Vince Vaughn purposefully fumbles and allows the other team to jump on it, and then they switch sides like that because you're already winning by a bunch and don't matter.
Yeah, but he didn't want to put he didn't want to get a turnover.
Oh, he's third string. Just do it.
Yeah, at that point, like, who cares? Just put Rudy in, coach.
Yeah,
which that is how it really happens.
yeah. I know that's so funny. Like I can't believe he agreed to it, but at the same time, it's kind of I don't know, selfless for him to do that.
Well, I read it, and then as I was watching the movie, I was like, they turned it. This is him vilified. Like he doesn't seem like that much of a villain. Rudy's still on the team for most of this, and like they
Yeah,
made. Yeah, I didn't love that. Like, or I didn't agree with the guy being so upset. I was like, you didn't look like that big of a dick. Like,
yeah, that was a little odd.
so I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
Okay, best music moment. I'm ready for you.
Yeah, I don't really got much though, cause like I don't know, I kind of forgot about this
Mhm.
category and didn't really like. I don't know. It was. I think you're right. I think because it's been used so much, I think that kind of just watered it down maybe for me. And
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, it's typical music that I've heard. But I mean, I just put the score as Rudy makes the tackle at the end. I mean, it was a good, good high moment, and
Yeah.
overall it was solid score. But I think you now telling me that it's been used everywhere, probably subconsciously, is what made
Yeah.
me not appreciate it.
So the score was done by Jerry Goldsmith, and I believe Jerry Goldsmith did what do we have here? He won the Academy Award. He's won like several Academy Awards for
Not my
score.
academy.
Not my Academy, not my problem. Um and one of those might have been Hoosiers. He might have been on
Oh,
Hoosiers too.
yeah, there was a lot of
Um
Hoosier connection.
Yes, there's a lot of Hoosiers connections in this. Let's see here. He was nominated for Hoosiers, did not win. He won for The Omen. Interesting. He's only
That
won
is
once.
interesting.
But I no, I think that this music is more memorable because of them using it in all those different things. I just really like it. I think it's very driving forward. And the two in particular, if you want to look them up after this, the two in particular ones that songs is it's called "Take Us Out" and "Tryouts." Those are the two songs to look up. So tryouts is when obviously he's trying out for the
Yeah.
team and trying to make it, and then take us out is when he's coming out of the tunnel. Those are the
Oh,
ones
yeah,
that
that makes
that
sense.
I really
Oh,
like. Let's see.
also though, that tunnel scene, as like impactful as it's supposed to be, did also make me chuckle because he did look like a Make a Wish kid out there.
He
Just
does. He looks so, but he like I've seen a picture of Rudy standing next to Sean Astin. They're the same height.
no way, for real.
Same height, yeah. So he was
Wow,
tiny. Rudy
that
Rudiger
is so
was a
crazy.
tiny dude. So it might have been maybe they embellished the other people's height a little bit.
I don't know.
Um,
Well, I mean, probably not. I mean, shit, they're football players. They offensive, defensive linemen are big dudes.
yeah, I mean Joe Montana's 6'2", so that's a whole 6 inches taller than Rudy.
Jeez, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
so
no Jamak Nettle.
he's no Jamak Niddle. That's my favorite player. All right, I've got a fuck Mary kill for you.
I got one too.
Okay.
Let me hear yours.
Priest. I got the
Bro,
priest.
yours is always dudes.
There's no women in this movie, bro.
There is, and that's the one I'm playing.
All right, we'll play yours after. The
No, yeah.
priest, Fortune, and D-Bob. I put the three guys that influenced him the most. This one's tough.
Well, I'm gonna look like a racist, but
Oh, wow.
I think I'm killing Fortune.
Wow. I'm fucking Fortune.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like Fortune might be. I feel like I could make him mad easier.
I don't think you're gonna be racist. It's
And then
absurd.
I think I'm fucking D-Bob. I think D-Bob's a good time.
I think I'm marrying D-Bob.
And
And I'm killing the priest.
I'm marrying the priest. I like that dude.
Why? You're gonna have a
seems nice.
sexless marriage?
Yeah, I don't want to have sex with a dude. So I think it worked out. And also,
You're
he
coming
can
off
give me some
homophobic now. That's what
good.
you're doing.
No, just because I'm not gay, I'm homophobic.
I'm not
Uh,
gay no more.
I don't like men's no more. But no, I feel like he could give me some because obviously he's full of some gems when it comes to wisdom,
Yeah.
and I
And
like
some
that.
jizz.
Okay,
Gems.
Jism.
Jizz. J Mac Niddle. All right, give me yours. Give me your fuck Mary Kill.
I had Rudy's ex.
Okay.
I had D Bob's girl, or the girl Rudy lied to get into the boosters. Mary, I think was her name.
The girl that they don't go back to, like, except, hey, don't I know you from somewhere?
Yeah,
That's it.
hey, she's in it. She's in the movie,
Let's see.
and that's the one I'm fucking.
I think you are right. I think I'm going to marry Elsa. I'm
Yeah,
going to going
same
to
here because Rudy's ex sucks.
Rudy's ex gets killed because she's just trying to get a house and live with a dude that works in that mill. She's got no dreams, no aspirations. She's not encouraging Rudy.
Classic mill wife.
She's too much like Rudy's dad to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to marry or have sex with somebody that's like my dad.
Yeah. Okay. Change the question. Change the subject.
This is why I always love fuck Mary Kill. It really brings it. The three seashells. Fuck Mary Kill.
Dude.
Okay, we're done with that. Who do you think gave the best performance?
Sorry, you got me on the three seashells. The best performance, I did the same. I think I just put D Bob or Fortune, and then honorable mention. I think I'll stick with I think the best performance with what he was given would probably be the priest. What's his puss? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Robert Prusky.
Yeah.
I'm going with Sean Astin in this because
No.
even in the moment that he is at his most annoying, like maybe when you're thinking about him doing that, I think that there is something charming about Rudy in his perseverance that really got to me. I thought he was kind of perfect. I thought he was perfectly cast for this movie. Especially reading a little bit more about like Rudy, the real guy. It seems like they got him spot on. So
No, I strongly disagree with this one. As I was watching the movie, this is some of the stuff I wrote down. Now it's coming back. So like from the coach's perspective, Rudy's incredibly annoying. Same for the groundskeeper. Like, quit friggin' bothering me, kid. Although
just because you're bothered doesn't mean that they're bothered.
They should be bothered, and they were at first because he's annoying. But also, like, he offered to work for free for Fortune, and he paid him minimum wage. I'm like, what the hell? Just take the free labor. But
you can't do that.
anyway, so I thought too, like, he gives off like hella stalker vibes. Like, he doesn't take no for an answer, and that's a big issue with today's world of consent. So he needs to really learn to take no for an answer.
But he's trying to
I think
fuck Notre Dame. He's not trying to fuck a person.
Notre Dame's got feelings too. I think this could get
No, they don't.
turned in.
Trust me. It's the Catholic Church. They don't have any concern over anybody. I promise.
Fair enough. This could be. I think it could be turned into a scary stalker movie with the right music. If you just change some of the music, get a Wilhelm scream in there, I think you're good.
I disagree. I think Rudy is portrayed as a hard worker, and that is why people like him. The coach would have kicked him off the team had he not been like that.
And see, this is again where I disagree. I don't think it was as much hard work. So I get that the moral of the story is to like never give up on your dreams and work hard and it'll pay off. But I couldn't quit thinking that it might actually be lying pays off and like fake it till you make it. If you want something, lie, break and enter, all that stuff.
They would not give this Make-A-Wish kid a spot on the team to even practice. They even say it during the tryouts. Like none of these.
I'm talking about the movie, not the real story.
No, I'm talking about the movie. They say it in the movie during the tryouts, they're like that nobody can do this stuff, and they talk about Rudy having, the heart, and he plays harder than anybody out there, and
He lies harder than
oh
anybody.
my
He
gosh,
lies
you're
to get his
so wrong.
weasel his way into the boosters.
The head coach says if you had a 10th of the heart that Rudy has, you'd be an All-American.
I don't care what he says.
That's the movie.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would be bike.
That is in the movie. I'm not making up anything.
I know you're not making it up, but it doesn't change the fact that he lied and cheated and stole
How
his
did
way to
he
the top.
lie?
He lied to get into the boosters, first of all. He lied about some other stuff about not really attending. He was at Holy Cross, not really attending Notre Dame. You could go back.
You make
He
it seem
lied.
like he's
He
got
has
this.
definitely lied.
You make it seem like he has this diabolical plan to
No,
to fool the entire college of Notre Dame into thinking he didn't. He didn't go, like, he had to go through 3 years of school at fucking Holy Cross
yeah.
with dyslexia.
Does he lie for yeah, is it like for a good reason? Yeah, but it's still a lie, and it's also still breaking and entering into Fortune's office to go find a place to sleep. I know it's sad he doesn't have he flipped that window
but
out.
Fortune provided him with the key and
Eventually, but that doesn't change the fact that the first time was breaking and entering for sure.
I agree. I agree with you there. But just because he did that does not make him like an
Lifetime criminal.
lying. No, you're wrong.
25 to life, right there.
This is where you're wrong, especially
Rudy,
after I know what rating you gave this movie. You're fighting a dumb cause right now.
Rudy should have never stepped foot outside of a jail cell.
Oh my gosh, you're wrong. All right, recast this movie.
Okay, I'm really bad at these, so yours are gonna kick mine's ass. I also the ages are probably not great, but here we go. So I did for 1993 for Rudy. I did River Phoenix.
Okay.
For D-Bob, I did Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. I like that. I actually kind of like Robert Downey Jr. in that D-Bob role.
For Fortune, yeah, because I was thinking, what was that last movie we saw him in?
Shortcuts with Rudy's girlfriend.
That's what was fresh on my mind. I didn't realize Rudy's girlfriend. Okay, interesting. And then as Fortune, I put Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine?
Michael Caine? She was only 15.
Let me hear your 93s.
I only did 2, and really, I read a little bit that the Rudy came down to Chris O'Donnell or Sean Astin. Chris O'Donnell from Three Musketeers. He played D'Artagnan. Three Musketeers. Wait. He's also Robin from Batman and Robin, the 90s Batmans. Chris O'Donnell. He's a beautiful, beautiful young man with bright blue eyes. He was kind of like a heartthrob at that time. And then I don't know where I want John Goodman in this movie, but I want John Goodman in this movie somewhere.
Gotta be D-Bob, right?
He's too old to be D-Bob.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like Chicago guy, which is where, Rudy's from a suburb of Chicago.
He could be Fortune. He could be a former Notre Dame offensive lineman.
Yes, I like that. He could definitely be Fortune. Okay, I like that. Fortune. That's good.
Yeah, so those are the only two.
There's the only 2 I wanted for 93. Other than that, I've got 2023. So you go ahead if you have anybody for 2023.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought about John Goodman for the shitty dad, but he's kind of too young at this point. And fun fact, the shitty dad, Ned Beatty, plays John Goodman's dad on Roseanne.
Oh, hell.
Fun fact there.
That's super fun. I had fun listening to it.
Yeah. Give me your 2023 cast.
Well, the Rudy cast is friggin' garbage. The other ones I'm not mad about, especially the last one. So for Rudy, I have Will Poulter, and I'm aware that he's a little old, but he looks young.
He looks young though.
Yeah. So I think
how tall is Will Poulter?
But he also, I feel like, yeah, he could be too tall. But I also feel like he could pull off.
He's freaking huge. He's 6'3.5".
Is he?
That's
Okay,
crazy.
what a terrible choice
The
I've made.
number one question on Google was, does Will Poulter have a syndrome?
Well, I mean, valid question, does he?
I don't think so.
But like, I feel like he could make it as like an underachieving football player because
Yeah, I think so.
he's built.
I think of him in We're the Millers, and
Of course, yeah.
well, even the new Guardians movie, he kind of plays dumb in that movie, which
Oh, and Rudy's dumb. He makes
Rudy is
terrible
dumb.
grades.
Well, he's not
So,
dumb. He's
Rudy's
dyslexic.
dumb.
I had this conversation the other day with somebody.
This-
They're not dumb. They have dyslexia. They can read. They can't
that
read.
wasn't a thing back then.
Yeah. No, that is one thing that really got glossed over in this movie. He's like, "Hey, I got dyslexia."
Yeah, they did not focus on that. They were just like,
He was
"Oh,
so
cool."
excited about it, which
Ugh.
I thought was pretty funny.
And they were like, "No," like they should have probably went down like, "Hey, we can," because he did say he had to take his tests in another spot, but that was like the only thing that they did to help make any impact on his dyslexia. But whatever.
Yeah.
As D-Bob, I've got two very different options.
Okay.
I've got Daniel Radcliffe. I know, I get it, he's old, but
Mhm.
I tried. And
No,
then,
good.
or Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, put him in everything.
Yeah. Of course he can do
Put him as Rudy.
Yeah. And then this last one I actually really like, and it's for Fortune. I like Lawrence Fishburne.
I almost cast Lawrence Fishburne, but I liked mine. I chose mine. We're on the same path, though. So stick with me. I cast Tom Holland as Rudy.
I looked at him. I did.
He's small and he can play a teenager at
He did
the age of
not.
like 28.
I did not think he even had a chance at looking like a football player, though. And I know Rudy didn't either, but damn.
Yeah, I don't know. He's tiny. I put Troy Gentile or Gentile. That's Barry from the Goldbergs television show as
Oh,
D-Bob.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I liked that one. Sean Astin as Father John Kavanaugh.
Oh, it's so smart. It's so smart.
So smart, right? And then I cast Martin Sheen as Rudy's dad. That one was the one I had the most trouble with. Was Rudy's dad?
You didn't have to cast him.
Omar Epps as Fortune.
Well,
He
I'm
looks
wrong.
like Mike Tomlin.
Oh yeah.
That guy. He actually was in a couple. I think he might have been in a football movie this year. I think Omar Epps was in the program. Which is a football movie that came out this. He's also Love and Basketball.
I used to watch that movie.
Yeah. But I was like, no, that guy, he's been in football movies before. I would be convinced that he was a former football player. Same thing with Lawrence Fishburne. I just went a little bit
100%.
younger. I was like a little 10 years younger than Fishburne. So
Yeah. Fishburne. I would be surprised if Fishburne didn't play football at one point.
Yeah.
He's built for it.
He's huge. So, okay. Fun facts from this movie.
Dude, I have so many.
I'm going to start with my first one, which I'm going to do for every movie from moving forward. Body count 1. I'm going to do body count from every movie from here on out.
I do like that. That's good.
Yeah.
And I think that should give bonus points on our star rating. The higher the body count, the more of a bump.
The more of the bump. That's a half star at least.
It would have got more of a star if they would have shown the bone crushing. But,
Gosh. Don't even. All right, go ahead. I'll let you go with anything that you figured out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. It's long. I don't know if you want to hear all of them.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
So we talked about the director also did Hoosiers. The writer also wrote Hoosiers. Rudy. Oh, here's where you were talking about earlier. Rudy didn't actually go in the steel industry. He served in the Navy for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know why they changed that, because that would have been pretty nice.
Yeah, they actually show his bag, and it's a Navy bag in the movie, but they never make mention of him going to the Navy after high school. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. We talked about the real coach Dan Devine and how that actually went down. We talked about brother Frank being rolled into one. The real Rudy played with the same time Joe Montana was a freshman on the team. Talked about that and how he replaced him for the game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a cool little touch. I like the little Easter eggs every now and then. In the scenes from the game in which Rudy plays, the jerseys of the players have the names of the actors and crew.
Oh yeah.
But that's a cool call out. Um, the real D Bob plays a bartender in the movie.
And real Rudy is behind Rudy's parents in the stands. I think he's got a plaid hat on.
And here's where our disdain from Joe Montana. So the reason Rudy had a spot in the game in real life was because a teammate was injured and taken off the roster for one game. That was Joe Montana. According to Joe Montana, Rudy being carried off the field in real life was a bit of a joke by the guys on the team. Big yikes.
Yeah, I think Joe Montana needs to cool it.
When the old coach Era, I don't remember, tells Rudy that he can't dress because the NCAA places limits on the number that can dress at home. This is incorrect. You can dress unlimited players at home. You were limited to 65 on the road.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'm sure you know this. You're familiar with that "Play Like a Champion" sign, and
Yes.
right? Okay. Well, that was actually not there until the 70s during Lou Holtz's tenure. And I actually caught this one. I was like, that seems like it shouldn't be there. Oh, no, I didn't catch that one. I caught this next one. Rudy said he was losing eligibility every year that he didn't get into Notre Dame, but that's not true.
That's
because
not true.
as you didn't play NCAA football at another college, which they didn't ever say that he did at Holy Cross, which also brings up another thing. Why didn't he play at Holy Cross? He could have been getting better.
I don't know. That would have been probably an easy way to get on the team, you know?
Uh-huh. But also maybe it's because he didn't have the grades to play there either.
Ooh, yeah, that's true. But he had to make good grades to get there. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Uh-oh, I lost my place. Here, I found it. So I'm a real big fan of this. I just never knew it had a name. No, not dyslexia. Anachronisms is the word. Are you familiar with this word?
Anachronism?
Yeah.
The word. Yeah. What's the point?
Just what does it mean?
Like
continuity stuff?
I think it has. Okay, I was like, what are we talking about? I think it has to do with like time and like things that are appropriate within like that time frame.
So there was a lot of that.
Oh yeah.
When it came to mistakes, because like he passes a bar on the street that has a Coors Light sign, and Coors Light wasn't produced until '79, and then the same for like I don't remember, Miller Genuine Draft Beer.
The colors of Boston College, I think, is something different.
Oh yeah. I think I saw that too. But I just thought some of that stuff, I'm not going to read all of them because there's a ton of them.
There's a ton of that stuff, yeah.
Like goalposts in the movie were 18 and a half feet apart and had been narrowed in 91.
Were they still in the end zone in that point? I
don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, like the Penn State, because they filmed a crowd scene where Rudy's in the stands, and that was a real game between Notre Dame and Penn State. And you can see like the Penn State fans' hats around Rudy and stuff.
So, and there was a lot of car issues too. They had cars that weren't actually out yet in the background a lot. And somebody said that the Notre Dame layout, the way they had Rudy like positioned on Notre Dame campus, wouldn't have been possible because certain buildings weren't where they really were.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was some interesting stuff. Modern sodium vapor streetlights and floodlights are in the opening scene. Can't do shit like that, dude.
Another thing about like the Joe Montana thing is like all of the teammates of Rudy, other than Joe Montana, have come out to like defend Rudy.
Well, yeah, Joe
It just
Montana is obviously a dick.
so it just makes me kind of hate Joe Montana.
Yeah, I
Steve
don't like
Young's
him.
better.
What'd you say?
I said Steve Young's better.
Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a dick too.
No, they're all dicks.
Yeah, I feel like
And like,
everybody in that era just sucked.
yeah, they can all suck an egg. Anything else?
I don't have any other fun facts.
Okay, cool. I don't think I have any either. I think you hit on all the ones that I had to say. So, is there anything that you would like to add to this movie? Yeah, Dan Marino falls in that too. He's kind of a dick too.
Yep, definitely.
Laces out, Dan.
God,
Do you want to say anything bad or really nice about this movie?
I said I did put a you ain't all that.
Yeah.
Said because I did like it. At the end of the day, it was better than what I had thought it would be. But you know, I thought it was still a bit of a cheesy Make a Wish type movie, even though I really enjoyed it. And there were parts that could have been pulled back a bit.
Yeah. I said it felt a little bit repetitive with, and especially with like its use of montages.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it is very cheesy. And it also goes into I really wanted to put this. This is such a boomer heavy movie. Like, old people fucking love this.
Dude,
It's
that
very
makes
much like
sense.
a Forrest Gump kind of, thing where they're just like, oh yeah, this is how it really was. And it only reiterates the pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. And like, if you just work hard enough, your dreams will come true. And
Dang, you hit the nail on the head on that.
yeah. This is such a dad movie with that. And I really think that if we peel back the layers a little bit and get out of that whole thing, it's like, maybe you shouldn't treat your children like shit in order for them to have to feel like they need to go to Notre Dame and play football to impress you. Like, that's what maybe we should take out of this instead of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I just hate that kind of thing. So that's the only thing I'll say about it. I still love Rudy. Like a fine wine and a dish, if you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
Probably Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Paul Flart Markap.
I'm just kidding. Probably you. I mean, I'm a sucker for this movie, but Cool Runnings. I think that's got to be.
I think that's a good one.
I think that's got to be up there. Obviously, I think another gimme is Remember the Titans, but I'm gonna say one more of a modern, even though it's not really it is modern, but not a super well known movie. I really enjoyed it, and now that I've thought about it, I want to watch it again, and that is Gridiron Gang. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, the movie sucked."
I thought you were going to say Coach Carter, honestly.
Oh no, I do like it, but I've talked enough about it. But no, Gridiron Gang with Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I really liked that movie. I thought it didn't get the love it deserved.
Yeah. I think I had Hoosiers, of course, just with the connections of that one's an obvious one, but I chose October Sky, a non-sports movie. If you've ever seen it, they show it a lot in schools because it's like
Dude, tell me why the hell they showed that in math class all the time.
Because it has to do with building rockets. You need math to build rockets.
Yeah, but it felt like a stretch.
But anyway, I said this movie's about dads that don't believe in their sons.
Oh,
it's very much also takes place during I think the 50s is when October Sky takes place. This one's in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Just an older period piece kind of movie. Dads that don't believe in their sons. Then their sons go on to do great things and prove their dads wrong. October Sky is a little bit more important because Homer Hickam helped make rockets that sent us into space. But I actually really love October Sky. I think I like October Sky a lot more than I like this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I must have just either not paid attention to that movie when they showed it in school or just repressed it or something because I don't remember it much.
Maybe I was more into rockets than college football.
Oh.
Even though I hated science. when I was a kid, but I love space.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who am I?
Vanilla Sky?
Not Vanilla Sky. October Sky. Vanilla Sky is a completely different movie.
The Hunt for Red October?
I am out of here on this. All right. What is your rewatchability rating if you had to give it out of 5?
So I gave it. I'm thinking about bumping it up, but I gave it a 4.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 as well. I think this is a movie where if I see it on television and it's at a specific, like if it's at a good spot, I'm probably going to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a cool, easy watch.
Yeah, it's a good fall movie too.
It
College
does.
football.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I would like some cheese dip or some chili, just be sitting there watching this movie.
Yeah.
I can dig that.
All right. What did you give it as your overall rating?
Overall, I gave it a 3.5, but I think I could be convinced to bump it to a 4.
I'm with you here on a 3.5.
Yep.
We have the exact same scores for once. I don't know if this has ever happened before.
Usually we have opposite scores.
I know. Even though you just went off on how Rudy's a crook for about half of this podcast. So
Oh, well, he still is.
he still is. Well, that's it. That's all we've got for Rudy. Before I leave, is there anything that you've been watching recently or have watched recently that you want to talk about?
My wife talked me into watching Ted Lasso. I'm about 2 episodes from the end, and it's better than I thought it'd be. So that's nice. But it's one of those things. Like I don't know, do I really like the show, or is it the show gives something for me to look forward to watching with my wife? Is that why I really like it? It's kind of tough. But I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I have not watched this yet. I do want to watch it. I want to watch No One Will Save You on Hulu.
Okay.
Have you heard anything about that?
Yes, it's on my list.
Okay. And then I've also, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, I've watched 1 episode of The Changeling on Apple TV.
Okay. Yeah, I've been wanting to watch. That's that Lakeith Stanfield show, right?
Yes. And I think it actually, like, I saw on Just Watch that it had a little bit lower ratings than I would have expected because I thought the first episode was pretty good. It had my attention. I don't know, I don't even know if you can call it less genre or subgenre of movies that Stanfield does. I just really like those. The kind of odd, like fantasy, like thinker type stuff.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
And I want to watch that movie that you put on the 1st of October, or was it? It may have been today.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yeah. Dave Made a Maze.
Yeah, that looks incredible. Like
Yeah,
I know it's not rated like super high, but it looks good.
I think just for the set piece alone, like looking and see, because I mean it's all done in cardboard and there's some really creative elements to it, which I think is why I gave it the score that I gave, because some of the acting is a little subpar in it.
Okay.
And everything, but yeah, just alone, just to see the set piece, which is of this cardboard maze in this person's apartment, it's kind of cool. So definitely watch the trailer on that if you haven't seen that, and check that out. I have officially started my month of 31 days of horror, and I actually got started a little earlier with that, so I've been watching scary movies.
What was today?
Today I haven't watched yet. I've still got time. I've got 3.5 hours to watch one.
I look forward to it. I didn't realize that you didn't decide until last minute.
Yeah, I have a couple there. But yeah, I watched Day of the Dead, which is a George Romero zombie movie, which is actually really good and kind of silly and super gory. Definitely recommend that. Gaia is another movie that I recommend. Beautifully shot. It has to deal with like mushrooms and nature. It's like an ecological horror movie. It's really good. Cure is a Japanese horror movie that is kind of like a murder mystery, but has to deal with like hypnosis and a guy convincing people to kill themselves or kill other people. So that's a really, really good movie. It kind of kickstarts the whole Japanese horror movement in the early 2000s with like The Grudge and The Ring, those Japanese versions of that. So That is what that's what I've started. And I have a list on my letterbox. I think it's public for like, I have like 40 some movies in this 31 movies list. So it's a little ridiculous, but definitely if you're interested in those, check those out that I've got listed there. I'm going to be watching those
Did you
all
fart?
month long. And
Yeah.
so next
Sorry, you
week's
farted.
no,
It's,
you're good. It's okay. Your kid's adorable. It's fine. As long as he doesn't flip us off, that's all that matters to me.
Oh, right. He's got a
Right?
problem.
He's got problems. But just so we'll go ahead and end this this podcast. Next week's movie is going to be on Sunday, and it is Nightmare Before Christmas, and it is streaming currently on Disney Plus. So check that out as we're in the spooky season. Thank you, Spencer, for everything, and I look forward to doing this with you again sometime. And
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for the chatter.
no, you're all good. I'll see you all next time. See you next week on 52/1993.
Bye.
Bye. Do, 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 do. I'm rating.